Soft skills make a difference in executing hard selling skills. So how many of you have ever had a sales meeting like this? You come to the meeting, there's 3 potential buyers. 2 love you. 1, not so much. Now, anybody besides me encountered this situation? Yes, okay. So how do you know that buyer doesn't love you? Correct, body language. Yes, the prospect is sitting there, arms are crossed, and they're just challenging you. See if you can sell me. Or what happens is that they're really not talking to you at all, or they whip out the new weapon of choice, the smartphone. And at that point, they're texting and emailing. Now, here's what can happen. If a salesperson doesn't have emotion management, if they don't have high self-awareness, they often go into this physiological reaction called fight or flight. And here's what it looks and sounds like. First of all, you might go into fight mode, and you go over to that hostile prospect. I hate to keep picking on you, sir, but you start actually picking a fight with them. You get equally defensive, your voice gets louder, you start talking more rapidly, or you go into product dump mode. Because your goal at this point is to make sure that prospect knows exactly how smart you are and how dumb he is. Now, on the other side of the spectrum, we can go into flight mode. And flight mode are those selling situations where you're panicking, nothing smart is coming into your brain, all those audios, books, webinars, sales seminars you attended, none of the techniques are working or coming out of your mouth. And at that point, you're kind of wishing the earth would open up and swallow you. Now, flight mode can also look a little bit like a scene from the Tommy Boy movie. Does anybody remember Tommy Boy? Probably one of the most famous sales movies out there. And remember when Tommy Boy kept eating no's? And he'd go, okie dokie. Well, sometimes, folks, I see a lot of salespeople, when they're going into flight mode, just go, okie dokie, I'm out of here. I don't get paid enough for this. Now, another interesting thing happens when you go into flight mode. This is actually where discounting begins. Because that hostile prospect finally speaks up, and he asks one question. Is this the best you can do? And at that point, we are so grateful that he is finally talking to us, acknowledging us. We say, well, yeah, we could probably do 10 or 15% off. And at that point, we're competing with ourselves. So what just happened here? This is where emotional intelligence really becomes important, because emotions can start running a sales meeting versus effective sales, communication, and influence skills.
Colleen Stanley is the author of the best-selling book, Emotional Intelligence for Sales Success. Connect with customers and get results. Her book has received the prestigious Axiom Award for Business and Sales Excellence. Colleen is also a featured columnist in the Denver Business Journal.
In your professional sales life, how many of you are marshmallow grabbers? And here's where it can show up: prospecting. Your sales manager, your CEO says, okay, here's your business development plan. And depending on what kind of company you're in, you've got cold calling, emailing, LinkedIn, social media, social selling, networking, referral partners. And for the first 2 months, you're excited. You put in the work. And then things aren't happening. Things aren't happening as fast as you thought. And instant gratification takes over. And pretty soon you're surfing the net, looking at your personal Facebook page or rearranging business cards on your desk. Is that a hard selling skill we're lacking, or is the soft skill of delayed gratification and controlling the impulse? Here's another place that it shows up: selling big deals. Let's go back to that sales manager or CEO. They're saying, go out there and hunt the whales, hunt the elephants, hunt whatever you call it in your business. And we're all excited until reality sets in and you realize that, boy, hunting the big deals takes more strategy. It means you've got to run multiple meetings with multiple decision makers. You may have to do more pre-call planning. It doesn't close in 3 to 6 months. It may take 12 months to 18 months. And sometimes salespeople just give in to the pull of instant gratification. And so they go out and grab the low-hanging fruit because they close quickly, they close easily. Which one is it? Is it a soft skill that's holding you back, instant gratification, or is it a hard skill? Often at sales leadership, we find it's a combination of both. So when you're diagnosing your performance challenges out there, look at both the emotional intelligence skills you possess and look at the hard skills that you may need to develop.
Sales leadership helps companies build predictable and sustainable sales growth.
Your best teams have a combination if you will respect the different styles. and learn how to work with them. Because if you see a bunch of D's running the company, guess what? They're telling everybody what to do and nobody's executing. You got a bunch of I's, it's the most fun place to work, but nothing's getting done, all right? Because everybody's having a party. You got the steady relators, they're going to be the executors, but they may not take the risk. Okay? And the C's are going to make sure you do it well, you do it thorough, you're not getting into legal issues, but you know what? They might analyze so much you never get going. Hi, I'm Colleen Stanley. At Sales Leadership, we work with companies on the sales side of the business. We help with hiring and selecting top sales talent, sales training, and sales management training. We are one of the very few firms that have actually incorporated emotional intelligence skill training into our consultative sales processes and leadership processes. Now, we in the sales profession, we're fortunate. We have what we call the visible talent. Yes, we're working hard, we're out in the front lines, we're taking risks, we're getting rejection, but at the same time, we can often be the heroes of the company. We close the deal, we're bringing in the revenue. Here's what I'd ask you to think about. Consider the invisible talent in your companies. And that invisible talent might be the gentleman in the warehouse that's shipping the products you just sold. The invisible talent might be that customer service rep that's handling those customer service calls, customers that are confused or complaining. You know, the invisible talent might be your IT department, who's working around the clock to make sure we've got email and telephones. It takes a sales village to win in today's competitive environment.
Sales leadership helps companies build emotional, intelligent sales cultures. Just ask top marketing and sales experts who recently named Colleen Stanley as one of the top 30 global gurus in the sales profession.